Hi, hello, how are you? Good morning, happy Monday. It's so cold. It was really gloomy this morning when I woke up, but it's nice and sunny now, which is nice because then hopefully I'll be able to take Marcy for a walk at some point. She is being so lazy today. She's still in bed and it's after 9, which normally she's not in bed this long. Anyways, reading wise, I got to page 67, something like that, in A Deadly Education last night. I'm really enjoying it. It is just a lot of internal monologue for Elle. Hi, baby. She's so dark, you can barely see her right there. It's a lot of her internal monologue and a little bit more like description than you need. Like, she spends 3 or 4 pages just talking about the different languages that you should know in order to receive spells. So I guess the more languages you know, you basically just ask the school like, hey, I need spells for this. And the more languages you know, the more likely you are to get a spell that's specific to what you're looking for, because they have hundreds of thousands of books. So if you only know like 1 or 2 languages, then that kind of limits the books with spells that they can give you, which, I mean, I understood that relatively quickly, but she goes on and on and on about explaining how she knows like all these different languages and what languages are best known at the school, what languages the kids don't really know, what knowing Latin will help you with, what knowing, you know, Hindu will help you with. It was just a lot of description. I'm still really enjoying it, and I love her internal monologue. She's so sassy. I'm liking the relationship between her and Orion. He has like a savior god complex almost. He feels like it's up to him to protect the school because he thinks she might be a Maleficer, but she's not. I mean, she has the potential to be a super dangerous one, but that's not who she wants to be. And he is suspicious of her. I think I mentioned this in last week's vlog, because a girl in her hall went missing, and while she doesn't want to out the person that it is, just to kind of keep herself out of the issue, she's like, yeah, she's dead. And he totally believes it's her, even though she says that it wasn't. And so he's asking around about what happened to Louisa, and Jax, the guy that was the one who actually killed her, and Jax, the guy who was the one that actually killed Louisa, shows up at Elle's door at night and stabs her in the stomach and tries to kill her. And thankfully Orion comes in like at the last second, chars him to death basically, and is helping Elle. And I'm hoping that this will make him realize that she's not dangerous, but I think he's probably still going to be a little suspicious of her and keep hanging around. And instead of making it seem like he's looking out for her and trying to save her, she's trying to make it seem like he's got a crush on her. So she's trying to change the narrative. I just like them. He's sweet but kind of dumb. She's super smart and mean. And that's my boyfriend and I, basically. Other than that, I am only like 40 or 50 pages into Queen of Air and Darkness. I want to listen to some more of it tonight while I do some knitting and crochet, and I want to go pick up a smaller crochet hook than the one that I have, I think, because I'm just using random ones that my boyfriend had. They're not the right size. The one that I have is too thick, so when I'm trying to pull through with the size yarn that I have and with the stitch that I'm doing, it's just getting caught and making it difficult. My friend is also coming to pick up her baby blanket at like 12:30, I think, or around that time, which is exciting. That's like my first one that I'm selling, and then I started working on the purple one last night. I really need to work on that more tonight and at least get through like the first section of All Dark Purple. So that is the plan for this week. Hopefully I will get some reading done, but I'm not putting too much pressure on myself because I've already read 5 books, which is crazy for me. If I finish A Deadly Education, that would be 6. I have no hopes for finishing Queen of Air and Darkness just yet. It's like 1,000 pages, and I only have like 5 or 6 days left of the month, so no pressure. I will update you guys later. Hello, it is a little bit later. I'm still working. It's just after 3:30. Sorry, I keep getting emails. And I'm listening to Queen of Air and Darkness. I'm on chapter 5. I'm only listening to it on 1.2 speed because it's just so much information, and I'm also like working on other things, so I just want to make sure that I don't miss anything. But, and this is a spoiler, if you haven't read Queen of Air and Darkness, I will put like a tag at the bottom so that you can skip past this if you don't want to hear it. But we've just gone through Livy's funeral, which was super sad, and if I could kick Zara Dearborn's teeth in, I absolutely would. She is just an awful garbage person. So is her father, using a child's funeral to try and promote his political stance, because that's really what it is. To like get people to be against downworlders. But Emma is talking to Jem, who I need to reread the Dark Artifice series. I think I read it like 4 or 5 years ago, and I just don't remember too much from it. I know that Jem has like an opioid addiction. What else? That's like what I remember the most from it, honestly. The like love triangle between him and Will and Tessa, which was weird to me that she picked Will, and then when Will died she went to Jem, which I just was like, that was just weird to me. And so now we found out that Tessa is pregnant, and obviously it's Jem's, and that just weirds me out for some reason. Like, I get it, she's immortal, and obviously it's been a long time since Will passed away, and it's separate, but I just loved Tessa and Will so much together. It feels slightly like a weird betrayal for her to be with Jem and to now be having children with him. And I just wanted to come on and say that. It's weird. This book is so sad, but I like that it's kind of similar to A Deadly Education in the like magic system that's set up, all the creatures that they fight, going to school at the Sholomance. I'm really enjoying both of them. I've also been crocheting in between like sending emails and stuff, and I finished my first Granny Square. I'm working on my second one. I don't know how many of this color I'm going to do. A bunch probably, and I'm just doing a bunch of neutral colors from this like photo that I saw on Pinterest. It wasn't attached to anybody's like website, so I looked it up on Instagram and found hers, and it was a little difficult to try and figure out what color she used, so I just kind of hope that it turns out nicely. So I'm gonna get back to work, but I just thought that was weird. I don't know why. I'm like, you've already had an entire family, and it's just weird to me. Hello, happy Tuesday. I'm tired today because I did not sleep well last night. A couple days ago, so my back hurts all the time because I'm sitting in this chair and I just don't have really good posture. And the other day I'd been complaining about it, and while I was laying down, I was laying like on my side facing the wall, and my boyfriend comes in and he lays on top of me, and I'm like, my back hurts, and he goes, oh, look, I can fix that. And so he like grabs onto my shoulder and grabs onto my hip and twists me before I can get out no, and my back popped. My shoulder, I should say, this one. Since then, when I breathe, it hurts right here. It feels a little bit better. Last night I ended up going to bed at like 7:30 to lay down, and I just ended up laying on a heating pad. It's like 100 years old basically. It's just like a bag that my Nana sewed together and put rice in it with like lavender oil. It's so old, it's supposed to be like a bright yellow, and it's like a gross orangey brown, but I like the way it smells, and I don't have to plug it into anything. I just throw it in the microwave and lay with it. So I did that. I had to lay really funny, like almost flat on my back with my head up on the pillows. So I didn't do any reading. I just watched Bob's Burgers and made another square. I have 3 of these so far. I'm going to do probably like 10 of them and then switch to another color. I don't know how many I'll need to make the blanket. Eventually I'll like lay them all out and see like, should I go any further? Do I have too many? You know. Reading wise, I'm really into Queen of Air and Darkness for some reason. I am 113 pages, so the last time that I tried to read it, I think I got to like 90 pages right before Julian and Emma, I think it's like right after the funeral. So they've been given an assignment by the new Inquisitor, Horace Dearborn, who is Zara's awful dad. He wants them to go into Fairy, which is the land of the Fae, and retrieve the Black Volume, which is like a big book of dark magic that Isabel, who was like a member of the Blackthorn family from like 100 years ago, who did some bad things. She was called back from the dead by Malcolm Fade, I think, in the second book. So she has it and the High Inquisitor wants it. I think he has something to do with like the wizard disease that's going around and the blight in Fairy, but I'm not 100% sure, and I think that's why he wants the book. He says it's because we shouldn't want Isabel to have it, or like the Seelie King, so he's sending Emma and Julian as like blackmail basically, because he knows about them being in love. He read it in Robert Lightwood's journal from when they had met with him in book 2, and so he's like, I'll give you what you want. I'll exile you, we'll strip you of your Parabatai runes, and you can be together, but I want you to go get this. And I just have a feeling that that's not going to be the end of it. I also got this really pretty bookmark, although it was expensive. I thought it was going to be $6 or $7. It ended up being $14.99. I was already there. I knew I really wanted it, so I was just like, yeah, okay, fine. But that was more than I intended to spend on a bookmark. I'm hoping to do a little bit more reading of this. I didn't read any more of A Deadly Education. I do want to read more of that tonight. I finished editing the vlog that's going to go up tomorrow, so I have it exporting next to me. That way I don't have to worry about it tonight, and I can do more knitting because I really didn't do a lot last night either. But I don't know which one I'm gonna end up finishing this week, but I'm trying not to put too much pressure on myself, so I'm gonna get back to work. Good morning, it's Friday. I think the last time I updated you guys was Wednesday. I just kind of was forgetting to update you guys, but I finished A Deadly Education last night and I really enjoyed it. I haven't tabbed a book in almost a year. I just haven't really felt like it, but there was a lot of information in this book, and just a lot of hints about Elle's character that I really enjoyed, and so many blue tabs. I don't know if you can see. She is so funny. She's such a sarcastic bitch, basically. I was reading a review last night that was like tearing the book apart basically, and I just didn't agree with anything that the person said. They were saying that, so I know that there was some controversy about the book because of the Locks comment, which was in my book, and yes, it was something that didn't need to be in there. It didn't contribute to the story at all. It was just like an offhanded like filler paragraph basically. Which is how I felt about a lot of the book, but I still enjoyed what was written. So there were like 4 pages at one point where the author just talked about different languages that kids study, and that was one of the things that this reviewer on Goodreads talked about also, saying that Elle has no respect for cultures and just collects languages as if they're nothing, and she refers to all of these other students as the Arabic speakers, the Mandarin speakers, and doesn't like see them as people or anything, which I disagree with. When you go to the Scholomance, when you're studying there, you collect languages as a part of your survival, because the more languages you speak, the more amount of spells you're going to get. There's this like thing called the Void in all of their rooms that you can ask for books, and if you only speak English or if you only speak Mandarin, you limit how many spells you can get, because I mean, basic cleaning spells, stuff like that are probably in every language, but the more specific and advanced that you're going to get, they might only be in a specific language, and if you don't speak that language, then you're not going to get what you're asking for. So that's why she collects languages that way. And not all of the kids who are Mandarin speakers or Arabic speakers, that is their native language. That's just like the language that they've chosen to do their studies in, if that makes sense. So they are literally Mandarin speaking students, or like, I don't know how to say it. It's not their whole identity, but that's the way that's how they take their courses. So that's how she identifies them, and that's how she knows these are the students that, you know, because I know a little bit of Mandarin, I can trade Mandarin spells with them, or because I know a little bit of Sanskrit, I can trade, you know, spells with these students. So the review was annoying, and I read it really late last night and was just grumpy for like an hour before I fell asleep. But I enjoyed it, and everyone's like, she's such an unlikable character. She's supposed to be. She knows that she is, and knows that sometimes she shouldn't be doing it, and she does get better once she realizes, like, hey, these people actually want to be friends with me. Now that I finished it, I want to go and watch some reviews, and maybe it'll change my point of view, but I did give it a 5 stars. I just really enjoyed it. I love, you know, dark magic stuff about schools and training and building a team, and there's this portion where they get together with some of the seniors to go fix something that's in the graduation hall that will take out all of the monsters that are in there. That way the seniors, when they get down there, don't have to face them all, because Orion, the hero of the story, not really, he just has like a savior complex. He has been saving all these students all year, and since they're not dying, the monsters that are like in the school haven't had anything to eat. So now they're starting to break out of the graduation hall and get into the rest of the school. So the seniors are saying they're hungrier than ever, and it's your fault because they haven't been feeding, and we're all gonna die when we get down there, because in order to graduate you have to fight through the monsters and get out. So Elle and Orion agreed to help them fix this thing that sends this like mortal flame. It's literally like a flame that burns through everything. To help them out. They're going to be graduating in the next year. I just really, really loved this book. And I just really enjoyed it. The second book comes out in June, which is so soon. I am so happy about that. I do think I still want to buy the original, like the black and gold copy from Barnes & Noble, because although I do really love this, I would like a black version as well. That's all my reading updates so far. I haven't made any more progress in Queen of Air and Darkness. I don't know if I will. I am off today. I'll be off Saturday and Sunday, so we'll see. We do have to take Marcy to the vet tomorrow. She needs to get like her yearly shots for some stuff. But it's super rainy, super gloomy. I just want to like cuddle up on the couch. I do need to spend a lot of time knitting this weekend, which is why I don't know if I'm going to get any more reading done. And I still have like 700 pages left in that book, so I really don't think I'm going to finish it this month. And then I also, the first book that I want to start next month is The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue, as part of the read, rate, and review group that G from Book Roast does. So it's just going to be like a back burner book for right now, listening to it here and there. I hope you guys are having a good week, and I'm going to go get back on the couch, and I'll update you later.
Alright, well, we'll see what happens in the sequel. By the next morning, light began to return to the world. As Pliny writes, quote, every object that presented itself to our eyes, which were extremely weakened, seemed changed.
Hello, happy Sunday. I didn't update on Thursday or Friday. I've noticed that I do that, and I think it's because my boyfriend is home on those days. And I still feel weird like filming around him, or I have to tell him like, hey, I'm gonna go to the bedroom really quickly to film an update. And I also, if I don't film in the morning when I'm like at work, then I forget to for the rest of the day. I just need to get better at that. Currently I am reading Queen of Air and Darkness, this huge honk of a book. I'm like 204 pages in. I did some reading Thursday night or Friday night, and then yesterday night I did a little bit more while I was playing Animal Crossing, which I have not played in a while, and it was nice. I just did like my tasks. By the time I started playing though, it was all the shops and stuff were closed down. Like the Nook and Cranny place and the Able Sisters tailor shop. So I just did stuff outside, but it's like fully snowed on my island, which is really cute. And so I made a snowman, and I got a snow boy, which is only 3 tiers. And then I got a recipe for a snowman, so I made one of those. I was just listening to Queen of Air and Darkness. I have the audiobook on Scribd, so definitely not going to finish this today because I have like 600 pages left. But I'm making some progress in it, and I'm going to continue slowly reading it over the next week or so. I am so swamped right now, and I'm doing it to myself. I'm in the middle of 4 like knitting and crocheting projects. One of them is the order that girl Jessie purchased from me. One of them is a blanket for my Nana. One is a blanket for myself. It was just a pattern that I really liked and have started working on and picked up crocheting. I was just knitting before, like last week. Now I'm also crocheting. And another one is for a steering wheel cover. I saw a steering wheel cover that somebody had crocheted on Pinterest, and it's $45 on their Etsy account, which is crazy to me. And so I was like, you know what, no, I'm gonna figure out how to do that on my own. So I've been making these squares, so I think there's like 8 of them that go together, and I looked up how wide my steering wheel is, so I need at least 14.5 inches total from the squares, and then I'm gonna stitch them all together and put them on my steering wheel. I just really liked the way that looked, and I've been wanting a steering wheel cover, and I'm not gonna pay $45 for one plus shipping, so I'm making my own. I only need like 3 or 4 more of these squares, so I'm probably going to do that today and to just like be done with that project. The other one that I'm working on for myself, I think I have to make like 238 squares, so that's something I'm definitely not going to be done with anytime soon. I'm just going to make like 1 square a day, probably finish it at the end of the year or something, but I am like doing like 6 rows of the blanket, a couple of squares for this, a couple of squares for that every single day, on top of the paint by numbers that I put a clip in of yesterday. I am just like 30 minutes of this, 30 minutes of that, 30 minutes of this, 30 minutes of that, and not even really enjoying anything for myself, I feel like. I mean, they're obviously my hobbies, but like when my boyfriend is off, he just lays here on the couch the entire day on his phone. He's like watching videos on his phone. He's also got the TV going, and I never do that. I always feel like I have to be doing something else. So I'm gonna try next week to be a little bit better. I still have to go grocery shopping today. I still need to clean the kitchen, and I just want to get this project finished, like the steering wheel cover. And then I'm gonna do my rows for today for the blanket and just do nothing tonight until it's time to go to bed, and then do a tiny bit of reading or just scroll on TikTok, because I just am pushing myself to do too many things that aren't like even required of me, some of them. So that's my update. If I do any more reading throughout the day or tonight, I will update you guys, but if not, I'll close this video out later.